2018 or something.
Yeah. That's true.
I think. But how we got in touch?
Stalking, probably my stalking.
Probably, like always.
Ciao a tutti, buongiorno e benvenuti a questa nuova puntata del podcast Just Ice Cream. E sono molto contento di avere qui oggi un caro amico, vecchia conoscenza che è Bas.
Ciao.
E quindi benvenuto Bas e grazie per essere venuto qua. Ciao Bas, quindi tutto bene? Come stai intanto? Come sono andate le vacanze estive?
Bene, grazie. I mean, my Italian is not that great, but no, it was fine. Good summer. Normally the summer for me is a little bit more quiet because most of the businesses that I help I do in the pre-season. So the summer is normally a bit more quiet for me. But nevertheless, I had a nice working trip to USA, which was nice. Startup of a business. And so yeah, that was a nice experience, good trip.
Ok. In merito a questo tuo viaggio negli Stati Uniti, magari poi ci direi meglio com'è andata, insomma, cosa sei andata a fare, però mi interessava far conoscere di più la tua storia, sapere di più come sei venuto a contatto con questo mestiere, quando è partito tutto.
So basically, I come from a pastry family. So my dad was a pastry chef, and we used to have a pastry shop attached, like, to the house. So basically, next door was the pastry shop. And I started with gelato when I was 16, 17. Mm-hmm. I had my first weekend job in the gelato shop in our city. It was called Tutti Frutti. And I did it for about, I think, 6 summers or something, which was nice. And then basically, after I finished my bachelor degree in marketing, I went backpacking. I went to Australia and Asia and Caribbean, not knowing what I wanted to do. And then basically I thought, wow, I really like this weekend job at Tutti Frutti. So maybe I can learn a bit more about how to make the gelato, basically. So then I went to Bologna to learn how to make it, and then that's how it started, basically.
In Tutti Frutti il tuo ruolo era già quello di fare gelato o che competenze avevi, che funzione avevi?
No, that was just to sell, basically. All weekends long, just the summer holidays, long rows of people, but it was nice at that age, yeah.
Prima di arrivare al fatto che arrivi a Bologna per imparare un po', diciamo, il mestiere, no? Hai menzionato che hai girato un po' in lungo e in largo immagino per imparare di più sul mestiere?
Well, a bit of both. So the first part was really to go backpacking and explore the world. I was 23 at that age. But then, basically, after I learned how to make the gelato, then I moved first to Estonia to start up. I think it was the first ever gelato business in Estonia. So that was an interesting experience because the summers are very short. It's very cold up there, but it was a good experience. And then I went to the Caribbean. I lived about 3 years in the Caribbean, something like that. And that's where I had my first own, like a catering, like a frozen dessert catering, basically.
In Caribbean?
Yeah.
In Caribbean.
Yeah. I was selling my gelato to the restaurants, to the hotels, to the dive shops, to the school. And that was nice. Yeah.
Quindi era nei Caraibi, diciamo che era il tuo... Avevi deciso di iniziare un'attività tua?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Com'è stata poi l'esperienza a Bologna per imparare il gelato?
It's amazing because you meet people from all over the world with the same passion and the same desire, basically. So that was great, and that was a big eye-opener for me as well. That there was such a big world behind the scooping cabinet, basically, right? Because as a customer, you have no idea. You just buy your cone or cup and that's it.
And that's it.
And it was a big eye opener for me. And at that moment, I knew that that was my, well, the way I wanted to go, my destiny almost.
Com'è stato la tua opinione sul gelato prima di iniziare questo corso a Bologna, diciamo?
Well, I knew that I liked it, and because of my background in the pastry, because of my dad, I had a connection with it already, but I didn't know, and I didn't expect that I would like it so much. Like I said, that there was such a big world behind it that I didn't know about. I just thought it's, you just mix a couple of ingredients and that's it. But there's actually a lot of science, a lot of theory behind it that I of course didn't know. And that's the part that I really liked.
Hai mai pensato, sei mai effettivamente tornato a lavorare con tuo papà o gli hai mai proposto di avere anche il gelato come offerta?
Well, that was at some point there was an option, but that's not really for me. I get bored extremely quick. And
You mean working with your family or?
no, meaning doing the same thing many times. And when you run a business, of course, there's a certain amount of things you always have to do, right? The same flavors have to be there. And I just know for myself that I like things for a very short amount of time. So no, that's not for me to have my own shop. That's not my cup of tea.
Hai mai pensato di avere effettivamente la tua gelateria o il tuo negozio che non fosse per forza quello dei tuoi genitori?
Well, I did work in a gelato shop in Antwerp for about 3 summers. It was kind of when the owner was off or on vacation or something, I was there. So we kind of did it, well, not 50-50, but let's say 60-40 or something. I do have a lot of experience kind of knowing how it is to have your own business. And then I decided that that's not for me.
Siamo partiti molto fluentemente, però non abbiamo neanche detto da dove vieni, dove sei nato, se vuoi citarlo per poi arrivare nel corso della chiacchierata.
So I come from Holland, from the Netherlands, from Breda. That's where my parents had the pastry shop. That's where I went to school. That's where I had my first jobs. And like I said, then I just lived in Australia for a while, in the Caribbean, Estonia. Then I went back to Holland, and now I live in Belgium. And my girlfriend is from Belgium, and so I live there now.
Ok. Qual è l'esperienza o il paese che più ti ha lasciato dentro qualcosa nei viaggi che hai fatto?
Oh, that's more than one, but I think if I can pick, well, 2, that would be, I think, Costa Rica. Costa Rica is amazing.
Why Costa Rica?
Because of all they have nice beaches, they have mountains,
Or the
people are nice.
ecosystem, you mean?
The ecosystem, the food is nice, the climate is nice, and I'm in love with the Caribbean. I used to live on Ceiba, which is a very little volcanic island, very little. I think it's like 5 square miles, so it's very little. And I lived on St. Martin for a while, and the vibe that you have there, the weather, it's just, I fell in love with it.
Tornando un attimo invece all'esperienza che hai avuto qua a Bologna, nel corso che hai fatto, qual è, secondo il tuo punto di vista, la parte che più ti ha fatto pensare che fosse effettivamente questo il lavoro della tua vita o comunque quello che volevi approfondire?
Well, what I really like about the gelato in general is the mix of creativity, I would say. So the possibility to turn an ingredient into a frozen dessert is pretty impressive. I think that it's possible. So the creativity in combination with sourcing the pure ingredients, so the raw ingredients is what I really like. And and also let's say, the technology behind it. So how to make sure that they're all at the same temperature, scoopable basically. And it allowed me to travel, which I really like. Like I said, I'm not the guy to stay in an office all the time. and this job really gave me the flexibility to basically work with my passion and see the world, make a combination of those two.
Mi sembra di intuire che comunque la componente del viaggio per te sia importante, insomma, ti piaccia, ecco, girare il mondo.
Yes, for me that's what I like very much. I mean, there's so many beautiful spots to see and to explore. Like, why not, right?
Una volta finito appunto questo corso a Bologna, come decidi poi e come avviene effettivamente la tua professione del consulente, diciamo?
Oh, so basically, when I finished the courses in Bologna, I didn't really know what direction to go in the world of the gelato, basically. So, and then immediately I moved to Estonia because there was a lady, Tony, that I met during the course, and she lived in Estonia. And she asked whether I was willing to help her in starting her business, basically. And since I already had some experience because of Tutti Frutti, I said, yeah, sure, why not? So basically, without really trying, that was my first consulting job, actually. It just came up, and I took that opportunity with both hands. So that's really what started my career, I think. And after that, I just kind of kept on going in that consulting business.
Stando un po' a le consulenze che ci racconti o che hai iniziato, se ci puoi dare più informazioni, ovvero, non so, avvengono 1 o 2 giorni a settimana, e se ti sei mai specializzato in qualcosa, ecco.
Well, it depends what the needs are of the people, basically. But like normally it's about a week, I would say. I think what makes me different from some other people is that I really work from zero, really from scratch, just making all the ingredients with raw ingredients, with the real ingredients. We make everything ourselves, the variegators, toppings. That's I think how I am different, and how and that's, if people are looking for that, they know that I am the type of person that can help them with that.
Stando sempre un po' come avviene la consulenza, ti capita ancora di parlare di bilanciamento di gelato? Hai un tuo metodo specifico?
Yeah, that's always, so what I'm always trying to do is, if I go somewhere and we basically make the recipes until, let's say, my customer is happy, is the way that he or she wants it to be. Because of course I'm not pushing my recipes up to them. It's basically, they tell me what they want, and then I try to adjust to their desire, which keeps it interesting for me, because if I would do the same recipes every time, then first of all, there's no exclusivity, and secondly, it wouldn't be challenging for me. And if I'm trying to give my best for the customer to have it exactly the way that they want it, that makes me think as well. That makes it like challenging for me, and that's what I like. And that's what makes every job that I do different from the previous one.
Hai menzionato prima le ricette, che anche secondo il nostro punto di vista, anche se siamo un'azienda, riceviamo un sacco di richieste di ricette. Infatti mi interessava capire quanto le persone chiedono spesso e volentieri ricette, o davvero vogliono imparare un metodo.
Yeah, so basically when I start a project or a consulting, it would be nice if the people either already have done a course so they know a little bit about the product, or if they have seen and read my book, because that's a good base technically to start working. But of course, if people just want recipes, that's fine as well. Of course, it's more difficult to send a recipe online because you don't know the circumstances, you don't know the place it's going to be. It's better to be there, of course. But if people just want recipes, yeah, of course, that's possible as well.
Circa quante consulenze avrai fatto fino ad oggi?
Wow. I don't know. Many.
Many.
Many. I don't know how many.
Roughly.
Roughly 60, 70.
Okay, well.
I guess. And that depends from small...
Country per country. Country for different country. I mean, 60 are 60 country, or maybe have you did also some classroom?
Yeah, like sometimes I do a one-to-one in Holland or Belgium. I teach in Holland as well sometimes. Yeah, so it's difficult to say exactly how much, but yeah, many. It's my job basically, so yeah.
And c'è una consulenza dove ti senti più orgoglioso, dove è diventato un caso virtuoso secondo il tuo punto di vista?
Yeah, some. I can point out maybe the one in Costa Rica that I did. Not just because I love the country, but that was a nice project because it was a restaurant, a nightclub, and a gelato shop all in one, which was nice.
Big.
Yeah, that was a big project. Also in Hong Kong, a couple of months ago, was a special one because there was a gelato shop and a cocktail bar combined. And that was nice because we tried to combine those two worlds a little bit. So we made a few sorbets that could be mixed with alcohol. So you can make a drink basically. And also it was a bit more challenging in Hong Kong because it was lactose free and low in sugars. And also, owner wanted a short ingredient list. So that was kind of difficult to manage because you cannot get all the ingredients very easily there. So that was not easy, but I'm happy with but I'm happy with the results.
Hai menzionato etichetta corta, senza derivati del latte e con ridotto contenuto di zuccheri, cioè praticamente tradotto essenza. Quindi mi interessava sapere intanto qual è stato il tuo approccio con essenza, perché non me ne ricordo onestamente, sono passati qualche anno, ci conosciamo da un po', e perché pensi possa essere una soluzione da proporre eventualmente una tua consulenza?
Well, actually, I was hoping that you would know the first time that we met because I don't remember.
Sige, probably. No.
Yeah, maybe. I remember that I went to the old lab in Modena.
In Parma? Or
In Parma, 2018 or something.
Yeah. That's true.
I think. But how we got in touch?
Stalking, probably my stalking.
Probably, like always. But it must have been somewhere 2017 to 2018.
Yeah.
And little by little, I got to know about Essenza a little bit more. It took a little bit of time, I have to say, because of course, not all the gelato shops, they have the request for, let's say, the thing that Essenza does, right? But now you see more and more, there's more interest in those topics, and then it kind of like a boomerang, it comes back to me as well because people ask for it. And so more and more I'm using the ingredients and products.
Secondo il tuo punto di vista, visto che viaggi un po' in giro per il mondo nel tuo mestiere, secondo te c'è un paese in particolare o più paesi dove senti che le tematiche che Essenza affronta siano un po' più ricercate?
I think, the first country that comes to mind is Norway. I spend a lot of time in Norway. I have a lot of consulting in Norway and clients. And there's really a big demand for especially the stabilizer without E numbers.
And Norway, it's a popular country also for gelato.
Yes,
Indeed.
absolutely. More and more, actually. And they are really looking for the clean label. They really look at the labels, and they really want something without E numbers. So that's actually where I have used the Essenza products the most. Yeah.
Ok. Una domanda riguardo sempre il mestiere, il tuo mestiere, no? Quello che giornalmente affronti. Quando penso al consulente o anche alle aziende che offrono questo servizio, mi vengono in mente veramente tante persone che offrono questo tipo di servizio. Com'è, secondo il tuo punto di vista, o comunque dal lato tuo, emerge rispetto agli altri?
Well, yeah, of course, that's not that easy, but basically that's why I accelerate in working from scratch, and that's how I think I can make a difference. Because of course, a lot of let's say consultants, they are linked to the big companies, which is okay, of course, which is fine. But I am trying to find a different type of market, which is more working from scratch, and to work in the artisan way with little semi-finished products. And I think that is what makes me different.
E come ti promuovi, detto in modo brutale?
Well, social media helps. The word of mouth is, of course, the best promotion. And I think the book, I wrote a book 2 years ago together with Niels Hendriksen. And the book is really a nice tool as well to promote myself. Of course, a book is like one of those life experiences that you want to tick off, right? That's like one of the things that, well, at least I wanted to do. And I'm happy that it's there. And yeah, that's a really big source of promotion for me.
Stando sempre al libro, no? Che l'hai citato e sarebbe stato uno degli argomenti, se vuoi dirci qualcosa di più, come è nata l'idea, quali sono i contenuti anche.
Yeah, so it basically came during COVID. It was a project that I did in COVID because we were all at home, basically. And I always wanted to write down, let's say, my view of the gelato, basically. And eventually it turned out to be a book with kind of a in-depth theory, I would say. But it starts very easy. So even for people without any experience, they can start the book and it dives deep very quickly, I think. And that in combination with all the nice desserts that Niels made, so gelato sticks, gelato cakes, mono portions, wedding cakes, that together, I think that makes a very nice combination in a book. And it's kind of a unique combination for a gelato book, in my opinion, because I have not seen it before in that way.
And how is going the book in terms of sales or?
Yeah, it's going well. It's basically it was a big risk because we did it all ourselves, so there is no publisher.
Oh, okay.
So basically the risk was that out of the 1,000 that we had, we would get stuck with 980.
You can use for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Just to light a fire. But to be honest, though, we're getting the third pressing soon, so that's very nice. I didn't expect that it would have been such a huge success.
Hai in programma di farne anche un'altra versione, uno nuovo?
I would like to. I would like to. I have ideas. I know what it should be about, but it's a lot of work and I want to do it right. Because for the first book, I had a lot of time to write it and I don't want to force the second book. So it could be maybe a couple more years until it's there. Because it requires a lot of testing, because I want to be sure that every recipe that's in the book is right. So yeah, it's in the pipeline, but I don't know when it will be there. It might be a while.
It's there.
Exactly.
Hai uno spazio dove appunto fai i test o dove ti eserciti o dove appunto fai accoglienza?
Well, I don't have my own lab, but I have basically two kitchens not too far from my home that I can use. One is in the Netherlands. It's like a school, a gelato school that I can go and that I can use their equipment. And I'm not too far from the Carpigiani distributor in Belgium. I can always go there as well and use their facilities. So I don't have my own, but I have very good.
Secondo il tuo parere c'è un paese, un tipo di nazionalità, mettiamola così, dove è più semplice eseguire il tuo mestiere, cioè dove la gente è più propensa nell'apprendimento?
Well, I think I have to say Norway again. That's maybe the reason why I get there so often is because let's say being Dutch, you kind of have the same mentality as the Nordic countries in general. So Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. And I feel that, let's say, my approach or my way of teaching and maybe my personality as well really fits the Norwegian mindset. So I come there quite often, and that works well. I like it there. Apart from that, it's a beautiful country. It's good for basically my way of teaching.
Hai una ricetta o un gusto, qualsiasi cosa che pensi sia più tuo, ecco, sia la tua firma, ecco?
Well, a couple. I think one of them is pineapple sorbet with basil. That one I make quite often. And then basically my signature, right? So normally when I go somewhere and I make all the recipes, the recipes are for the people, right? It's not, my name is not on the recipes.
Sure.
But then basically as soon as you know that they have pineapple basil in the display case, then you kind of know it. I have been there.
You're behind the sign.
Exactly.
C'è un ingrediente dove nei tuoi viaggi hai preso come più ispirazionale?
I basically like...
Not pandana, because we already mentioned with Luca Musolesi.
So basically, I like basically everything with coconut. So that could be coconut milk or cream or flakes or whatever.
So coconut base.
Yeah, I like the flavor, and it combines very well with a lot of spices and herbs. In Australia, they have a lot of lemon myrtle, which is like a very acidic, like lemongrass type of herb, which I really like, but it's hard to find here. Well, for today I brought lime leaves, so kaffir lime leaves, which gives an amazing flavor. So I think if there's one, let's say, flavor that I like is the combination of coconut with something acidic or something.
Appunto, lavorare con nuovi ingredienti, nuove tecnologie porta anche a essere, come dire, sempre più informati, no? Anche se fai consulenza, hai ancora modo di aggiornarti, fare corsi su te stesso?
Yes, so it's important to keep updated basically of all the topics, and I do. I read a lot of books. I do courses online that really improve my let's say my theoretical skills, and also I'm trying to do courses that upgrade my practical skills. So soon I'm going to do like some courses that are very dedicated on pastry and gelato pastry, just to improve that a bit more. Because the quality of the gelato in general worldwide goes up. That means that the knowledge of all the people goes up as well, which makes it even more important for me to stay updated, right? Because I noticed that the questions I'm getting now versus 5, 6, 7 years ago are from a much higher level, basically. So people are getting more involved, and therefore there's a big desire for me to stay up to date as well.
Prima hai citato che vieni da un viaggio negli Stati Uniti e mi interessava sapere perché ritengo che gli Stati Uniti sia uno di quei paesi dove il mercato sta un po' cambiando sul gelato, ma stando un po' più elevati e generali, come lo vedi diverso il gelato da paese a paese?
Let's say in general, I can say that there is a bigger demand for less sweet things. Let's say in comparison to a couple of years ago, everything has to be less sweet, which that's something that really...
So less sweet, not with less sugar, I mean.
Not per se.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not per se with lower sugar, but just the
organoleptic.
Exactly. The flavor perception. That's something I see almost everywhere, basically. But then country to country, well, it's hard to say, I think. It's more that you see let's say the global changes. I think you see it everywhere.
Abbiamo parlato un po' di trends e come potrebbe essere il futuro del gelato. È recente la notizia, ne approfittiamo di questi canali per discuterne, che questa gelateria a Taiwan ha ricevuto per la prima volta nella storia una stella Michelin. Quindi, insomma, fatto abbastanza nuovo comunque, che ha creato ed è stato interesse anche nel nostro ambiente di gelato italiano. Secondo il mio punto di vista potrebbe essere, non lo so, uno di quelle notizie che potrebbero deviare un po' la concezione del gelato. Secondo il tuo punto di vista, hai un'opinione in merito? Secondo te potrebbe essere una di quelle appunto dinamiche che fa cambiare il mondo del gelato?
Well, I think first of all, let's say big congrats to them, because it's amazing what they've done. I haven't had the chance to go there, but to have a gelato shop that receives like a Michelin star, it's amazing. It's super impressive.
Yeah,
so congratulations, definitely. Let's say big trends. I think there are a few things that will just keep continuing. Well, the first, I think the vegan gelato will keep rising, I think. And then of course, let's say the sugar topic, but I don't necessarily believe in, let's say, sugar replacers. I think it's better and nicer, especially for the gelato, to have lower sugar. So not to go, let's say, sugar replacers or, let's say, zero sugar, but less sugar. I think like 30 or 40% less sugar is easy to reach, like you know. It still gives a good scoopability, still gives a good flavor. So I think we should focus more on that, because a gelato contains sugar, right? Whether you like it or not. But lower sugar, yeah, why not? But I don't really believe in the let's say, no sugar or sugar replacers. And definitely, which I think will be a standard at some point, is the clean label. So let's say people are getting more obvious of what they eat. They want to know what they eat. They're checking the labels. And I really think that, especially for stabilizers, of course, that market is huge. Well, you know better than me. But I really think that at some point will be a standard.
Sono molto d'accordo con quello che hai detto, no? Quindi sicuramente la dolcezza e lo zucchero e in generale gli ingredienti saranno sicuramente uno dei temi che verranno sempre più approfonditi, però quello che mi interessa anche sapere è, secondo te, visto che vedi un sacco di realtà nel mondo, quindi insomma di differente concezione, il metodo di vendita sarà, proprio come minimo l'ha fatto, potrà essere uno degli argomenti su cui lavorare. Cito anche per esempio Stefano Ferrara, lo cito perché è uno dei consulenti o comunque figure più rappresentative del nostro settore, che ha aperto il suo negozio a Roma, ha cambiato un po' il punto di vista sulla vendita?
Well, what I think and what I hope basically is that we start focusing on less is more basically. So not the display cases or the shops where they sell 60, 70 flavors, because first of all, people don't know what to choose. And second of all, then let's say the chance that it's fresh from that day is nearly impossible, I would say. And that's also one of the things I always try to tell the people that I'm helping to start up, because people always have big dreams, and I always try to kind of put it smaller. Like, better to sell maybe 14 flavors or 12, but of high quality and everything homemade, than to have like 30 flavors and do it, let's say, halfway. So that's what I think and hope that we're going to. So more specialized shops. So the small shops with very high quality but a limited offer. I think that should be the way to go.
E secondo sempre il tuo parere, vedi questi negozi un po' più concentrati che vendono solo gelato, o che combinano anche l'offerta tra la parte di pasticceria o caffetteria?
Well, I think it would be cool if you only sell the gelato, nothing else. The shop where I used to work in Antwerp does that. So first they did coffee, and they did milkshakes, and they did smoothies and all of that. And they just put it all down to the core business, which is gelato. And he sells only that. And it goes like, it's a huge, big success. And that's what I would like to see more. So specialize in the things you're good at. Because there are so many coffee places, there are so many bakeries, pastry shops, right?
Specialize.
Yeah, let them specialize in that, and you specialize only on your gelato. And I'm 100% sure that if you do that right, if you put all your energy in those 10, 12, 14 flavors, I'm sure it will be a huge success because of the quality. People come especially to your shop just to taste your gelato. And I think in the sense of what we're doing now, people are getting more conscious. That fits, that idea fits.
C'è un paese in particolare dove ti piacerebbe sia visitarlo, ma soprattutto dove ti piacerebbe fare una consulenza?
Well, there's not one in particular. I always like new places. Well, I've never been to Africa. I've never been there in general, not for private, not for work. So that would be nice to have that. But I don't really have one country in particular. It's really nice to have the opportunity to travel to places that I wouldn't have picked myself, to go there for work, and then, of course, first of all, make sure that the job is done well, but then also hopefully enjoy the country a little bit and stay a little bit longer to explore the place that you are. So no, I don't have one country in particular, no.
La gente che ti chiede consulenza ha le idee già chiare, o magari devono un attimo ancora capire bene dove vogliono andare a toccare i temi?
Well, that depends. I have this function in my website that people can contact me, and sometimes all I get is, I want to open a shop. Like, yeah, okay. Well, what do you want? Like, then I don't know what to say back.
Budget,
Yeah.
flavor.
But that's often also a way to see if people are very interested or not. Because normally, what I think, okay, now I'm triggered, is if I get a story, right? Hi Bas, I'm this and this and this person. This is my background. I want to do this and this. Can you help? For example, then I know, okay, he or she has really thought about the idea, what they want, and then we are basically already on a more serious level. But what happens often is that people have romantic idea of changing their life in becoming a gelatiere, right? So
maybe people that are not involved in gelato,
Yeah.
and they are okay.
exactly. So maybe you have an office job and you're like, well,
Probably from a bank or
exactly,
everyone that has a gelato shop coming from bank.
exactly, banks or insurances. A lot of people have this romantic idea, like, okay, I'm going every morning. I'm going to the farmer. I'm getting raspberries, and I'm just gonna peel them and make a
my
nice
hands.
sorbetto by hand, and then I'm just selling to people, and then I go home. But that's not reality, and that's always what I try to explain to people. Like, it's hard work. It's long hours, especially in the summer, of course. It's from the morning to sometimes after midnight, 7 days a week. Lots of heavy lifting of the sugars. This idea saying, oh, my life will be easier once I quit my bank job and become the gelatiere, has to be reconsidered, I think. Because it's definitely not easy. And it's hard work. And you have to think about the recipes, you have to make the orders, you have staff to plan, to hire, to fire. And that's why I'm saying, if you really want, let's say, an easier life after your bank job, whatever, that's why I was saying before, focus on only a few flavors. Because if you manage that and you don't start with waffles and milkshakes and smoothies, whatever, and you just focus on the gelato, the way that you imagined it, then yes, possibly you can have a more relaxed life that you imagined during your banking job. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's a difficult job.
No, I'm totally agree with you. In fact, every time that I spoke with someone that's gelato shop, I'm curious to understand how they spread the part of the energy,
Yeah.
but also the different role and function that you need to have in a gelato shop.
Yeah.
Because you need to make your purchase department, you need to sell, you need to train your staff,
Yeah.
you need to the financial,
Bookkeeping.
yeah,
And
learn new recipe to
Yeah.
be updated.
definitely. Because I would say that 70%, 80% of the people that I start up, before they are opening, they always have this idea of opening more shops, like doing a chain. I want to do a chain. I want more than one shop. But I think maybe 5% does it eventually, because having the first shop makes them realize how much
is
work
hard.
it actually is, and it's not as easy as it sounds.
Stando a questa tua ultima considerazione, Bas, che trovo interessante, dove è nata questa storia che il gelato è un lavoro facile?
People don't know really, like, because let's say the biggest experience that people get from gelato in general is going up to the scooping cabinet, receive their cone, eat, and walk away. That takes like 1 minute. So if you have no experience in food in general, it's normal that you don't know how much work it actually is. So I think that's one thing. And the second thing is, of course, that there are a lot of ready-to-use sprint ingredients on the market that make it actually easy and quick to do. So it is possible, definitely. But if you really want to have your gelato the way that you want it, that you have the control of all the sugar and the flavor and the fat and that you control exactly how you want it, then it's not so easy. And of course, I think it's also perhaps a way for, let's say, manufacturers to sell their ingredients and equipment, to show how easy it is, basically. Which is okay, which is fine. But I think those three elements are the reason why some people maybe underestimate
Or
the amount
decided
of
to
work.
approach gelato because they think that it's more easy than other jobs and works.
Yeah.
Ok, visto che è così semplice, adesso andiamo a far vedere alla gente che o è così semplice o non è così semplice. E Bas, prima di andare a fare un po' di gelato, e la usuale domanda che adesso poniamo a tutti i nostri invitati, se fossi al mio posto, chi chiameresti alla prossima puntata e perché?
Well, I think I have two people that I have really a lot of respect for and that I really learned a lot from. One is Luca Musolesi, but he already was at the podcast.
Maybe one other time.
Maybe one more time. And the second person is Luciano Ferrari, that I learned a lot from in the past, and I think he would be a great, let's say, guest in the podcast.
Ok, we'll try. Ok,
Sure.
so, andiamo a fare un po' di gelato così finiamo con il botto.
Certo, grazie.
Grazie Bas. Ok Bas, finalmente eccoci, da seduto era meglio perché adesso ho la tua altezza che mi manifesta. Comunque siamo pronti con la tua ricetta, hai deciso di portare un gusto vegano, ho il piacere che tu ci presenti la ricetta, come l'hai fatta, come l'hai pensata, quindi a te la scena.
All right, so we're gonna make a vegan coconut with an infusion of kefir lime leaves, which is very nice. So these leaves, they really give a nice citrusy flavor, and well, it's basically too bad there is no smell in the camera, basically, because the smell is very there. I leave that to infuse in the water for basically, well, the longer you leave it inside, the more flavor it's going to give, of course. I prefer to use cold water, or let's say room temperature water, not to heat it, because that may change the flavor of the leaves. So all the water that you need for the recipe, you put in a bowl, add the leaves, and just leave it to infuse.
Make it infusion.
Yeah.
And how many times do you make, generally speaking, the infusion? Is there any particular time that you suggest?
Well, but let's say with a cold infusion, if you have time, you can do it overnight.
Okay.
In the fridge. But it really depends on, let's say, how many leaves you put inside, how fresh they are, the length of the infusion. So it's really hard to say. But let's say if you have the time, all night is okay. So that's the infusion. Then we have the coconut cream. I normally use about 19% fat, so it's nice and rich and creamy.
And do you use only coconut cream, or do you have also coconut milk?
I use the cream because then it becomes a little bit more rich in fat. Yeah. But of course, I mean,
to use all the fat that are coming from.
Exactly, because there's no extra fat that we add. So there's no cocoa butter or something. So all the fat comes from the cream. Of course, if you want, you can replace a part of the water with coconut milk or water.
Okay.
If you want, of course. Then we have powders. It's only sucrose and dextrose. And then we have the fibers. So we used the Linda fibers from Essenza. We used the E-number-free stabilizer, the fiber ice cream.
Yeah.
And then here we have L'essenza, the liquid fiber ingredient. So that's basically it. So it's not a very long list of ingredients, so I try to keep it a little bit short.
As we talk before, that you're
Exactly.
going to reduce as much as possible the ingredient list as well.
Definitely. So that's it.
And this is a recipe that you suggest to have with a heat treatment, or you can go also without, with any treatment?
Well,
Because, from a sense point of view, you know that they can be used also in a cold process. So
yeah, there's no really there's no need to heat it at this point. Certainly, I would not heat the coconut cream because of the flavor. It's better to
to maintain.
Exactly. So no, we can just mix this. The water goes in the cream, but we have to strain out, of course, the leaves. mix it all, and then it goes into the batch freezer.
And just for curiosity, as because we have here the book,
Yes.
it's the recipe, it's ready in the book, for example.
It's here, yeah. And basically, the recipe is used to make a. I'll show it. Is to make a coconut shell, which
perfect.
looks quite nice. It's almost the same recipe as we're doing today, so it's in here.
Perfect.
Just together with a lot more different ideas.
Want to buy the book?
Who wants to?
Who wants to buy the book?
Yes.
How we can do it? Do you have a link in your website or how
Yes.
it works? Okay.
There's a link in my website, basvanhaaren.com, and you can get it as well through the website from Niels, which is called Soet and Zo.
So let's do the recipe.
All right. So
We put the powder.
all the powders inside.
In the meantime, I want to ask you something about Essenza. What is your favorite product that we have in our portfolio?
This one.
Yeah, Essenza.
L'essenza. Yeah, because it's so various. There's so many dynamic. Yeah, there's so many different ways that you can use L'essenza. It's the most, let's say, usable ingredient together with the stabilizer. Because what I really like about the fiber ice cream is that you can use it, let's say, as a one-to-one replacer for your traditional stabilizer. So that makes it easy to change, right? It doesn't require lots of recipe calculations or it's just a one-to-one replacer, which is nice.
Nice. Bas, visto che ti piace, lo usi anche come è parte del tuo mestiere, ti piace anche cucinare a casa o proprio sei negato?
I don't cook that much at home, to be honest.
Grazie, chiudiamo tutto. What will be your next travel?
Next travel is again to Norway.
Norway.
Yeah. For let's say a catch-up consulting of something I did last year.
Okay.
So the shop opened last year, and they've been doing very well, and now they want to focus a little bit more different flavors, maybe some.
So to
some
implement.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just gonna mix it.
Yeah, sure.
And then we put it in there.
Okay, we stop now because it's too noisy.
So make it flat.
Yeah.
It looks a bit nice.
Okay, Bas, the gelato is ready, so finally we can test.
Yes.
When was the last time that you did this gelato flavor and where?
Last time was something similar. I think we did in Hong Kong, not too long ago.
So,
Buon appetito.
Let's try.
Do you taste the lime?
Yeah, nice. Also, the combination with the coconut, it's a good balance, I think.
I think so too. It's not too sweet.
No. Creamy.
Yeah.
Very refreshing. What about for you, the infusion? Do you think it's one of the technique that the gelato maker could be even more take part about this part of technique? I mean.
Yeah. Well, I use it very much, and I hope, let's say, to inspire other people to do it as well, because it really gives a different flavor to almost any flavor that you're making, right? Just maybe a bit of cardamom or a hint of coffee or cinnamon, or that just makes your gelato different than the one from the competition.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why I like to use it.
And one other curiosity that I have, how did you start making a new recipe? Did you take inspiration? Do you have the idea during the night? How it works?
Well, by traveling, you get a lot of new flavors, of course, to inspire. It's something that you see, let's say, on exhibitions as well, that you think, oh, maybe that's a good idea to try. And most of the times, I just come up with it myself, and I think, well, let's try to combine this and that, and then see what happens.
So Bas, Thank you so much.
Thank
Grazie
you.
mille, Bas.
A te.
And I hope you can be with us in Egypt. I don't know.
Let's see. That would be nice. Yeah.
And thank you again. It was really nice to see you in person again. And thank you for carrying your experience.
Likewise. Thank you for that you have me here.
Thank you. Bye. Ciao a tutti.
Ciao a tutti.